Hello, hello, my style icons. Welcome back to Life in Style with Brianna Cantore. That is me. I'm a designer, a stylist, and a health enthusiast, just looking to live my best and healthiest and most stylish life. And consider this podcast your mental vacation, the best destination to be besides maybe New York City. Right now, I'm spending some time up in northern New Jersey, which is where I'm originally from, visiting my mom and sister and seeing all my friends. And of course, I'm making my way into New York. There's always so much going on in New York City. I actually went to college there and spent some time in my early career living there. And I honestly just love it. And it's the best in the summertime because people are traveling. So I feel like it's a little bit emptier than usual. And the weather is actually pretty nice. It's not too hot right now. So I'm really enjoying New York City and my time here up in northern New Jersey. So, I have a fun episode planned for today. I'm going to talk about 5 stories that are buzzing in the fashion community. So, today's topics are Marc Jacobs' Vanity Fair piece, color maxing, Anne Hathaway's pregnancy style. I'm breaking down all of acquired styles, wedding looks, and I'm going to be discussing SYRN, Sydney Sweeney's brand, and what's going on there. So, let's get into it. Okay, Marc Jacobs' Vanity Fair piece. He got really honest and raw in this interview, which I really appreciated, and I believe it's the first big interview he's done since the announcement of the acquisition of his brand. So, in case you don't know this, after 30 years of partnership with LVMH, Marc Jacobs is being acquired by a joint venture between WHP Global and G3 Apparel Group. So when I first heard about this, I felt 2 things. One, I was a little shocked that LVMH was getting rid of the Marc Jacobs brand and a little bit, I don't know, hurt for Marc Jacobs because I've been a fan of him for so long and LVMH of course is such a highly respected company and and typically when a brand gets passed over from one company to another, it means things aren't going well and the companies that are acquiring him, I didn't really know much about. 2, I also was like, okay, this could be a good thing though, because I've just felt that the brand has needed a refresh for a while. And I used to be so in love with the Marc Jacobs brand, especially as a teenager, and seeing the Marc by Marc Jacobs, category explode. I was really in love with Marc by Marc Jacobs. It was very cool, young vibe to it, a little bit grungy, which is what Marc is known for. And he really is one of the designers that really inspired me to become one myself. So I've just felt like it's lost its shine a little bit over the years. And so on the other hand, I thought, okay, he is being even though LVMH is giving this brand up, maybe a toss of the baton is what the Marc Jacobs brand needs. So, as far as we know, Marc will stay on as founder and creative director, and runway shows will resume for now, although they are not the moneymaker of the brand, which that wasn't surprising to me. I mean, couture at such a high level like that really only has 1% of 1% of the people in the world that can afford it, right? So the customer base is really, really small is what I'm trying to say. And so that type of product probably never is going to be your hero, your moneymaker if you are a brand that sells in a few different price points like Marc Jacobs, but it's also needed, right, to set the tone for the creative of the season, to inspire and attract people to the brand, and to allow the designer, in this case, Marc Jacobs, to really go balls to the wall and use all their creative juices and put together a show like that, right? So I'm sure he's very happy to hear that. He's still gonna be able to do that, at least for now, until they figure out their exact roadmap. Here's a quote from the article that caught my eye. He said, LVMH has kept us and done the least possible they can in terms of growing our business. And this was not the full quote, just an excerpt of a full statement that he made. And he also expressed that he's not like mad at them, though. This isn't coming from a bad place. He just, Marc Jacobs wasn't one of their other brands like Dior or Louis Vuitton. So he maybe is just trying to express that his brand didn't get as much support in growing the business, or at least maintaining what they once had. And I've felt that. I mean, I feel like everything the brand has done over the last few years has just been very mid. I mean, their stores are fine, but they're not amazing. The merchandise, I mean, nothing has been catching my eye. And I feel like it's really lost the essence of Marc Jacobs and who he is as a designer. So I get what he's saying. The article also says that the new owners want to bring Marc by Marc Jacobs back, which is, like I was saying before, his more accessible line with a younger vibe, which I am really here for because I was a huge fan of Marc by Marc Jacobs and had the coolest denim bags by him. I think it's the right time for it. I think there's a need for more brands that are creative and unique, and the Gen Z is loving, our 90s style, right? And I think there's a way to do Marc by Marc Jacobs in a modern and approachable way. I mean, I could see it selling well on Revolve. So I would love to see Marc by Marc come back. And what I have to say is, I would also love to see his handbags make a comeback because over the past few years, actually a while now, the only real handbags you've been seeing people use from Marc Jacobs are the tote bag, which isn't even a really original design. And that just wasn't what he used to be known for. I mean, for my Sweet 16, I actually got a red quilted Marc Jacobs leather handbag and it has gold hardware. I still have it. And it's just beautiful and artistic and classic and like almost Chanel looking, but a little bit funkier. And I'll have that bag forever. And that to me speaks to Marc Jacobs, not these tote bags and I don't want to sound like, ew, if you have one. I actually have the dog one for my dog. It's fine, but that shouldn't be what we think of when we think of Marc Jacobs because he is such an incredibly talented and unique designer. And he's also an American designer, in my opinion, one of the most successful American designers. He's freaking iconic. And so I would love to see luxury handbags come back in a big way for the Marc Jacobs brand and really see the essence of who he is, the cool guy, the grunge guy, the creative guy. I'd love to see more of his voice in the merchandise moving forward. So I'm hoping that can happen. Best of luck to the Marc Jacobs brand. I really hope that this acquisition goes well for you guys. Okay, I'm back. This freaking camera, I charged it for many hours and I don't know if it wasn't plugged in right or what the hell, but anyway, let's move on to story number 2, which is all about color maxing. So, Color is in and Quiet Luxury is out for fall 2026. Quiet Luxury is not dead. Don't go throwing away all of your classic wardrobe staples that are beige and browns and blacks. But what I'm talking about are the recent runway shows being more creative and showing us you don't have to wear a full beige look to look expensive. Styling that's taking over right now is pairing different colored pieces together, different bold colored pieces together, typically solids. So not like the maximalism back in the day where we were wearing these like crazy chunky, weird necklaces and all these different prints, which you can still do. But the particular color maxing that we're talking about that's really in for fall 2026 is pairing, say, a tomato red sweater with a cobalt blue bag. Actually, recently I practiced color maxing by wearing, I have these light yellow jeans and this lime green silk Helsa blouse that I love that if you follow me, you've seen me in it a bunch. So I paired those 2 together, which I typically wouldn't wear together, and it looked awesome. So yellow and green is definitely a pairing to try out if you're into this. Also, tomato red and aqua is having a really big moment. Pairing those 2 bold colors together, I recently found an aqua mini dress on Revolve and paired it in a Substack article with a red stiletto, and it looked really, really good. If I had a date or something fun coming up where I needed a really great night out outfit, I would definitely purchase those 2 items. More colors that I'm liking together are purple, like a very vibrant purple, and a cherry red. So I'm sure you're seeing that around. Burgundy and orange, really nice together. Definitely giving Saint Laurent vibes, right? Mustard and teal. So kind of like the yellow and lime green that I did, mustard and teal as well, looking great together. So we this is what we're referring to when we say color maxing. So making the most out of colors and pairing colors together that you typically wouldn't wear together. And again, I'm not practicing that right now. I have on brown and an off-white top, but um doesn't mean that this outfit isn't good for wearing right now. Doesn't mean you have to be in bold colors every single day, but definitely try to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and just play around with your wardrobe. See what looks good together that you haven't tried pairing before, which is how I came up with the yellow bottom, green top situation that turned out to be really, really good. So, let's play with color, guys. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is Anne Hathaway's pregnancy style. So, Anne Hathaway, she's one of the most famous actresses. If you don't know, Princess Diaries, look it up. But I'm pretty sure we all know who Anne Hathaway is, right? And she's having this incredibly major year because it seems like she is the star of every movie that's coming out. I don't know how she's gotten the time to do this, but God bless her. She announced her 3rd pregnancy in June, and she's working alongside her stylist, Erin Walsh, to create the most gorgeous and on trend looks that accentuate her evolving body. Um, she looks so beautiful. And, you see some chatter online that's like, why is this woman bearing her baby bump? I hate when women show off their baby bump while they're pregnant. And I really just don't understand that. Like, first of all, it's her personal style and her choice, and style is different for everyone. And if she wants to accentuate and show off her beautiful body that is growing a baby, why would we be criticizing that? Like, why does that bother you? I don't know, that's so odd to me. I think whether you choose to, you know, bear less or bear more, I mean, that is your choice. Recently, actually, I heard a conversation of someone criticizing a girl with a hot little body wearing a thong bikini at a public beach, and I'm like, I do that. Like, I don't see the issue with that. I don't know. Um, so my take is, if you wanna bear the bump, bear the bump, like, wear it loud and proud. That's a life you're growing, and My other take is how amazing it is to see a woman in her 40s having a baby, growing a baby inside of her. It's so inspiring, especially being someone who's 34 and who wants kids someday. And, you know, you go on social media and it sometimes things come up on your feed that are like, "Oh, you need to freeze your eggs," or, "Oh, you're gonna have a geriatric pregnancy." And it's like, who are you, number 1, to say that? And why are we discouraging women from pregnancy at the time in their life that's right for them? Like, I just don't get that. Like, as long as you're healthy and taking care of your body and nature allows it, then why wouldn't you want to see this woman in her 40s thriving, having a healthy pregnancy and showing off how beautiful her body looks? So, rock on Anne Hathaway. I want to talk about some of my favorite looks she's worn so far. My absolute favorite look was her outfit for the End of the Oak Street premiere a few weeks ago. She wore a custom atelier, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Prabal Gurung, that's a designer, high-low halter top that had this cascading train in the back. It was really, really cool, and she paired it with wide leg jeans, which I love. Like, I love seeing jeans on the red carpet. I think that's so fun. And the jeans were by Laline. The top was a pale blue, and it had a tomato red lining that peeked out from underneath, and because it was kind of like had fluid motion a little bit. Um, I don't know, I can't really describe it, but you could see the lining. So, she was practicing color maxing like we were just speaking about, and had this top that was blue and red, and it looked so beautiful on her. So that was my favorite look, and you can see her baby bump from under the hem of the top in the front because the back had the train, but the front came up a little higher, so you could see the bottom of her bump, and she looked so cool. Like, I would love to wear a look like that. I also loved the custom Prada gown she wore in July to the New York City premiere of The Odyssey. It had a crystal crisscross bodice with a light champagne-colored pleated floor-length skirt. The movement of the skirt was really, really beautiful, and so the bodice, meeting the upper portion of the dress, ended just below her bust, and then the skirt started from there, so it created a really nice shape on her and really accentuated that growing baby bump, and the fluidity of the skirt was just so beautiful, so goddess-like, so I loved that dress, and I also was obsessed with the custom chocolate brown Louis Vuitton gown she wore to the Odyssey premiere in Paris. The color, you guys, oh my god, it was just this warm chocolatey brown that is so flattering on all skin tones, I'm telling you. And so for her, it really popped because she is so fair skinned and this gown was so dark and rich in color. She looked beautiful in it. The bodice was leather and it had a semi-sheer pleated chiffon skirt, so again, the pleating, and again, this bodice ended at the bottom of her bust, so this dress also created that really beautiful shape and really accentuated that baby bump. So, she looked amazing, and her hair was half up, half down, so some of the pieces in the front were pulled back, and it was, like, waved, I would say, like, long, beautiful Mother Earth vibe waves. She really just looked like Mother Earth, like, that is how I would describe this look. She looked amazing. And so the last look I wanna talk about is the blue marine ruffled mini dress she wore in London to the premiere or some sort of promotion of The Odyssey again, and she paired the dress with suede over-the-knee boots by Gioventino Rossi. This look was so cool, very bohemian vibes, very something you would see typically like a Sienna Miller in, so definitely different for Anne Hathaway, but I loved it. I love a ruffly, flowy mini dress on a pregnant woman. I feel like that would be my pregnancy style for sure. And I just want that dress in general. I mean, I need it. It's so, so cute. And I love blue marine. Definitely my vibe. And so Anne Hathaway and, your stylist, Erin Walsh, great job. The looks are just winning, like one after the other. And thank you, Anne Hathaway, for being such an inspiration to women who are in their 30s and 40s and wanting to expand or start a family of their own. I think it's incredible. Okay, so for story number 4, I want to talk about Bridget. I don't know if I'm going to say her last name correctly, but Felong McHale. So McHale is now her married last name, who goes by Acquired Style on social media. She just got married in Newport, Rhode Island to her college sweetheart. And I'm breaking down all the looks she wore because they were all fabulous. Beautiful. She had many outfit changes throughout the weekend, and I felt like one after the other, like they just kept getting better. So let's talk about them. So for her first look, this was the night before the night before. So I'm assuming she had just gotten to Newport to start her wedding weekend. And it seems like they went out and about in the little town there. And she wore the rosy mini dress by Dat Official, which is a very ruffly feminine dress, short in length and almost vintage looking. It retails for $570 and it's still available today. I included it in a Substack article that I wrote about all of her wedding looks. And so I included each look and how to achieve the look for less. So for this dress, I did find a few options that would give you the same vibe, but won't reach that almost $600 price tag, which is fantastic. So I'm linking the Substack article in the show notes. So again, that was the night before the night before. So then that takes us to the welcome party, which was the night before her wedding. She wore a vintage Roberto Cavalli gown. It was an ivory maxi dress and it had metallic straps and a ruched bodice details. It was absolutely gorgeous. And they had these cutouts on the bodice as well, one in the center of the bust and two more, I think it was like more towards her underarms. Very cool. It gave me very like mermaid vibes. And it was sourced by Raff Vintage, who she used for another one of her looks as well. And it was gorgeous. I mean, that like mermaid is what I think of when I look at this dress, which makes sense for Newport, Rhode Island, which is a coastal town in Rhode Island, pretty upscale. And so it fit the vibe of being near the water and having this summer wedding. And so then that takes us to her wedding day. She had 3 wedding dresses. So first was the dress that she wore walking down the aisle. It was a custom Vera Wang. 2 hearts as one gown is what Vera Wang herself called it. It featured a sculpted drop waist bodice, off the shoulder neckline, these gorgeous oversized 3-dimensional roses placed around the hips, and a very full skirt. And she emphasized that from the inspiration dress to the dress that she wore, they added a lot of volume to the skirt. So the design was inspired by the Vera Wang Anne gown, which is currently available on Vera Wang's website. So you can book an appointment at one of her boutiques and try this gown on. And so the one that Bridget wore was custom to her, but is very close to the one that you yourself can potentially own for your wedding day. And it's gorgeous. It's timeless, but it also, had those unexpected details at the hips with those roses that were absolutely beautiful. It obviously fit her like a glove because she got it especially made for her. And I just love that she had the opportunity to work with Vera Wang because obviously Vera is probably the most classic and iconic bridal designer that you can think of. And what an experience, right? To have her custom make this dress for you. So that's very, very cool. Her second wedding dress was also a custom Andrew Kwan couture gown paired with the most beautiful jewelry from Ring Concierge. She had on this diamond necklace with this drop detail. Oh my God, it was stunning. I love Ring Concierge. I wear them every day. I have my lab grown diamond tennis bracelets from them that are very dainty and just, I never take them off. And then my everyday ring is also from them. But anyway, this gown, back to the gown, dress number 2, had spaghetti straps, a V neckline, but it was like kind of a soft V, I would say. Like the V did land a little bit lower on her chest, but the shape of the V was almost like between a sweetheart and a V neckline. And a drop waist, again, with this horizontal gathering of fabric at the hips that separated the bodice from the skirt. And then the skirt was very long and fluid. It screamed very old Hollywood to me almost. Could definitely see some old Hollywood inspiration behind this gown. And again, it was a beautiful gown. I mean, fit her perfectly as a custom dress would, and had enough style to it to make it interesting, but also very classic. Okay, and then for the third dress, so she had 3 total wedding dresses, which would you expect anything less? No, and God bless her, they were all beautiful. The third one was probably the most fun and sexy, which is why she wore it last, right? As the party really got going, and I know she had an after party as well. It was the Kate dress by Maison Margot from Jackson James Bridal Boutique in Tribeca. It's a very couture mini dress, and it had a sweetheart neckline with a lace corset bodice and lace peeking out at the bottom, and then this very long train in the back. So it was a mini dress, but then it had this super cool long train that I saw her, holding up as she was dancing. So it was just a really fun and sexy, almost looked a little bit like lingerie type of mini dress. So what better way to end the wedding than in this sexy little number that, of course, looked beautiful on her body. So that's it, right? Only 3 for her actual wedding day looks. And then she served another look the morning after for her brunch, which I think was at a bagel place or something like that. And they had, really good iced coffees and different types of bagels that actually looked really fun. She wore a vintage navy and white plaid, again, Roberto Cavalli dress, also sourced by Raff Vintage. So she must have a good relationship with them, or maybe consistently works with them on sourcing vintage pieces. That's what it looks like, because I think she's also worn some looks now on her honeymoon sourced by them. And I'm wondering if Roberto Cavalli is one of her favorite designers, or if these looks just both happen to be vintage Roberto Cavalli by chance. I'm not sure, so I would love to find that out. But this dress was so cute. It had like ruffles, definitely made a statement, but also, perfect for a brunch. And I like that she didn't wear, solid white. She, it was the day after her wedding, and she brought in, a different color into the mix. And I think navy was the perfect choice because, again, she was in a coastal town. And when I think of coastal towns, I think of, light blues and navies and whites and stuff, right? Resembling colors of the sea. And Newport, Rhode Island, that just kind of screams navy to me. So I think that was a great choice. Oh, and then one thing I forgot to say is that when she got ready on her wedding day, her and her twin sister Danielle both wore pieces from their brand called Fifi. And unfortunately, they're sold out now, but you can sign up for notification as to when they restock it. Her sister Danielle wore this adorable light blue baby doll top and matching silk shorts, and Bridget wore this very stunning white lace and silk slip dress with a matching lace, and I believe there was silk as well in the robe. I'm not exactly sure on that, but again, I linked those pieces in the Substack article, which is in the show notes. I myself love the light blue set that Danielle was wearing, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't log on in time to purchase it, but I did sign up for notifications for a restock, so I'm hoping I can get my hands on that set because it's really, really cute. And so, congratulations to Bridget and Mitch. I wish you a happy, happy life together. And Bridget, way to go on your wedding looks. They were all amazing. You looked beautiful, no notes. And I'm sure there are many brides out there that are very inspired by the design choices you made for your wedding day. Okay, so for the last topic today, I wrote, is SYRN not making noise? So, SYRN is Sydney Sweeney's lingerie brand, and earlier this week, a report citing an unnamed insider claimed sales of Sydney Sweeney's lingerie brand SYRN have fallen considerably since their launch in January 2026. From what I see, the site is still operating and they're still posting on social media, but I don't really see any big influencers posting about them. And I asked around to my friends to see if anyone has purchased from them or has any interest in any of the products that they're selling. And no one I know has actually purchased from SYRN. And I myself haven't as well, so I can't speak to the actual quality, or design of the product firsthand because I haven't seen it or felt it, anything like that, which is something that I like to do before I give my full opinion. Um, but what I will say is, here's my rough take, and just so you know, I really don't like to bash people or things harshly. Um, so I'm never gonna go in really rudely on something. In one of the episodes, I was saying how I would never fly tap Portugal again because we just really had a bad experience, but I didn't say it in such a harsh way, you know? I try to keep things light here, but I do want to give my honest opinion. I'm always, if one thing, I'm always honest. So, my honest opinion on the brand so far, and sorry that was long winded, but anyways, that the branding is very confusing to me. And I've said this to a few people and they've agreed. When they launched, I thought it was like a sweet green ad because of the way the logo looked. I just can't unsee a salad company when I look at their logo because it's two colors of green, like a darker green and then a more almost limey green yellow color. It literally looks like a cucumber to me. And the font to me looks very almost clinical. Like, I think it should belong in the wellness space or on a skincare brand, something like that. It just doesn't seem like a font that belongs on my underwear or bra. So, the font combined with the color just creates a very confusing visual identity for me. Like, I don't see lingerie brand anywhere in the visual identity. So then I went on their website preparing to speak about this article, and it was also very confusing because I clicked shop all so that way I could see all of the product on one page before I got granular and looked at the individual categories and collections. And when you click shop all, you actually don't see all the merchandise. So that was tough because, well, one, as the customer, that is an easy way to shop usually to see everything you have before I make a decision. Um, and for me, I couldn't get a full scope of everything I felt like because I guess the website wasn't set up correctly. I don't know. But from what I found, the assortment is a mix of lace, lingerie, bras, and undies and bodysuits. And then they have some basic bralettes and basic thongs, like your everyday fabric. a few corsets, and which I saw some criticism online about them because they're not cheap, but people were saying they didn't look like they fit well. And then loungewear, but like very basic, nothing that you haven't seen before loungewear. Um, it's cute, but nothing really like grabbed my eye, nothing pulled me in. And I am like the ultimate consumer and I love trying new things in different brands, but there was really nothing on this website for me personally that I wanted to try. As far as everyday underwear, comfortable underwear and bras, I'm a Skims shopper. I think they've really nailed the fit in the fabric, and I studied Skims a lot when I was working at my last job because we were making product of a similar category. And so I've touched a lot of Skims product, and I would say like most of it is really, really good, if not all of it, to be honest. But again, I haven't actually touched the SYRN product yet, so I'd be interested in, you know, seeing how it's made and what the stitching's like and what the fabric is like. But I just don't want to spend my money on it. As far as the corsets go, they aren't anything new looking. And I feel like if I'm going to buy one or if someone like me is going to buy a corset, it'd probably be from Danielle Guzio, her brand, because they make a great corset that is super well fitting. And actually, my younger sister just got into her corsets as well. Her lace lingerie looks nice, but again, not anything I need or not anything so unique that I need to buy it from them. And the loungewear stuff, like I said, it's stuff that's already out. And they have some pieces with their logo on it, which I think because their visual identity, in my opinion, is not super strong, it's not pushing the needle for me to buy it. Because a lot of pieces with logo branding on it are kind of all the same, right? But with just a different logo. But because their logo isn't nearly as strong as I think it needs to be, the pieces feel very just unintentional and not, you know, persuading me to purchase them. I actually don't think the logo even looks good on them. And I think it's because I really just don't like the logo. The logo just doesn't resonate with me. So, I wrote here that as both a consumer and someone who is a merchandiser and designer, my suggestion would be to narrow the focus of the brand. So, what does SYRN really want to be the best at? Because I'm not sure. Like, is this supposed to be really, really sexy lingerie with a side of everything else? Do you want to have the best corsets and then some other pieces to go with it? Are you just trying to be another loungewear brand? Like, I'm not sure because there is a very large assortment of product out there that, and nothing, I don't know, in my brain seems to be the hero. And also in their Instagram bio, they say something about, boobs, like the best stuff for your boobs. I don't know, because playing off of Sydney Sweeney's breasts, which are amazing, like her body, my God. But okay, so let's think about that. Like, are the products supposed to be products focusing on enhancing your bust? Like, is that the focus and purpose of SYRN? Because to me, that would make sense. I would also obviously love to see a sexier logo, one that we as consumers would actually care about wearing on ourselves, and just an overall much hotter visual identity that matches the name SYRN. Like, even when you go on the website and look at all the products, most of the models are pretty thin and like regular boobs, but in my opinion, shouldn't SYRN there be like body shapes of all types, and especially girls with lots of curves and huge bust and maybe a huge ass. I don't know. But that to me, that visual presence would make more sense than just another Victoria's Secret where you go on the landing page and every model is 5'10" and pretty thin and, has similar body types to each other, right? So I think overall the brand needs a little bit more sex appeal in the visual identity and to narrow their focus as far as what do they want to stand for, what products do they really want to push and focus on. I also wrote that in one of the campaigns, she had on this really cute shirt, "Marry Me, Fly Free," and it doesn't appear that that was even actually one of the shirts they were selling. I think it was just, they added it in the photo shoot to merchandise the look with, but I actually thought, like, that was really cute, like, they should sell that shirt, and I totally would wear it with, like, the boobs exposed underneath, like, how she was wearing it in the ad. So maybe they should have some, like, fun, sexy T-shirts with their lingerie, make it different like that. I don't know, but that was something I noticed. So, Sydney Sweeney, if you want to, reach out, I would love to help you work on your brand. But I am wishing you the best because I am a Sydney Sweeney fan, and this wasn't meant to knock on her in any type of way. I think I pretty much said what a lot of people are thinking, and I hope she can turn it around because I think it could be something cool, and I would love to have more, options in that space. And I also, just one last note, think that if she does want to focus on breasts and like products for women of all different size breasts, it could also be cool to bring in some sort of a charity component to the brand, and maybe 1% of sales goes to a breast cancer research foundation, and maybe she can add a little bit more meaning to the brand in that way, right? Because I love brands that give back to the community, and especially ones that are fully committed to that. So I think that could be a really good idea. So yeah. Anyways, that's all for today. My outfit of the day, I'm wearing a Monday swimwear hat, which is my favorite hat. It's so cute, with a little Free People slip dress that I'm wearing as a top, and brown We Wore What balloon pants that are my favorite. I wear them so much. Camera is about to die again, so I'll keep this quick. Our affirmation, I like to close every episode with a positive affirmation. Today's affirmation is for my single ladies, and it is, I am attracting a healthy, loving, fun, and committed relationship. I am attracting a healthy, loving, fun, and committed relationship. With that being said, this episode is in support of Feed the Children organization, a leading anti-hunger 501c3 charity that I'm a donor of. Please go check them out. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.